And welcome back to the Male Soap Opera Moment, the premier wrestling video cast. Why, you ask? Well, it's not me. It's not me. It's Damascus Des and Vinny Booch, and we are here to recap the crown jewel from Saudi Arabia, where count them, five championship matches took place. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to discuss. Hidden talents unearthed here in Wenz world. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not familiar with the musings of Damascus Desmond, now you are. The man is better than Elias, and dare I say, probably better in the ring also. Hey, don't blame me. That's not the way I called it. It's just the way I see it. But we are going to get to the matches. First, welcome back to the show, gentlemen. Always great to have you, Damascus Des and Vinny Booch. Booch, I noticed that you're wearing two belts. I'm not wearing a belt, technically, but perhaps that'll change in the next few minutes. We'll find out as we recap all things Crown Jewel. But let's get to it, guys. We started with a kickoff match that you wanted to kick out of the show, but it wasn't terrible, right? It wasn't terrible.
I'm gonna give me a second. I'm gonna be just a minute. Sorry.
It's all right. This is what happens on all things stay on this show right here.
Yes.
This is real life here. This is real life, ladies and gentlemen. So
Exactly.
Booch, not a terrible kickoff match. Of course, Sammy was seen more than once throughout the night. He came to spoil the plans of Damian Priest. We'll get to that later on. But of course, a local boy, they love him. They loved him, and he got the win.
Yeah. I mean, well, Sammy, I don't know if he's a local boy. I know that Sammy, it's just great to see that he's finally can be part of the Saudi Arabia shows, because for a long time, because he's of Syrian descent, he couldn't be at the Saudi shows. But then as things between Syria and Saudi Arabia have kind of died down and things have kind of been more peaceful, Sammy's been able to make appearances at the show. That's why he was able to do the last show with the tag titles with him and Owens against Roman and Solo. He got to have a pre-show moment. Some people liked it, although a lot of people felt that JD McDonough was overselling. A lot of people didn't like the overselling of JD McDonough. They felt like it was over-exaggerated, and maybe a couple spots were, but overall, both guys worked very well, and I think it was, just a good way to warm everybody up before we got to the festivities.
Mm-hmm. And the festivities began with Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre and defeating Drew McIntyre, much to my dismay. Man, I just didn't see this coming. I thought now was the time for the Scottish psychopath to take the heavyweight championship. I was wrong. I got swerved. You guys, how you feeling after this match?
This was an interesting one because whereas I agree, it felt like it was time for Rollins to lose the belt and McIntyre feels like the right guy to do it. What they're doing with McIntyre post Crown Jewel, it feels to me like maybe this was done right. Maybe now that he is, and to anybody who's not keeping up properly, what the hell are you watching our show for? But McIntyre has a deal with the Judgment Day, so I could see him getting the title very soon.
Yeah, a lot of this going on backstage after he lost a little look by Rhea. We'll get to her. She protected what was hers down the line. Booch, but what say you about this match between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre?
It was great. Great way to open the show. Edge of your seat moment. Obviously, I was the only one who picked Rollins, so I got to celebrate with this one. But there were a few times where Drew hit like a Claymore or something, and I thought, oh, crap, I'm in trouble. And then Seth would kick out, and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And then there was the pedigree and the stomp combo I thought was a great finish because Seth had hit the stomp multiple times, and Drew was kicking out. So it's like, that's the thing that sucks about kicking out of a finish or kicking out of a moment that should clearly be the finish. Is like, okay, if this isn't putting him down, what extreme thing are they going to do? And is it going to be a good extreme thing, or is it going to be a stupid thing that can get somebody hurt or killed? Thankfully, that wasn't the case. They had a great Seth Rollins found a great way to finish him off, and it was beautiful. So this was it was a world title match with a world title feel. I feel like this is what the belt should be made for. So I have no complaints. This is a fantastic match.
Yep. Fantastic, except for the finish, right, Des? I mean, both of us were on the other side of that coin.
I definitely chose Drew McIntyre to win, but this was a situation where I wasn't going to be upset if he lost. But not mainly because I like Drew and I think he's a great champion, but I wanted to see this heel turn come to full fruition, and I feel like that was important before he won the title anyway.
Good synopsis. The next match was pretty decent. I liked it. Again, gentlemen, you know my stance on a 5-way match where it's not an elimination match, but it does protect people in some ways and it abandons people in other ways. So you can't have it all. But with this match, I felt like they told a story, and the story ended with Rhea Ripley retaining. So many times it could have been somebody else. Everybody had their spots in this match, and I really, really liked that. Booch, what say you on this one?
Wow. Honestly, I've been waiting to talk about this one. Wenz, if you've been checking your Twitter, you know I tagged you in something a while back, so you probably already know what I'm gonna say. I enjoyed this match, and just like you said, there was a story that was told. People had spots in. The moment with Shayna when she had the leg locks on 2 people and was damn near choking out Nia, I thought that was one of the most beautiful spots I've seen because, again, it was set up in a believable way and it was fantastic. This match was incredible until the finish. One moment with the finish fucked the entire thing. And that's why I love talking about this. It's a teachable moment. Because one thing I always talk about, I preach about it till the cows come home, is about believability. Making people believe that what you're seeing in the ring is a real fight. Again, you know it's a work. I know it's a work. Des knows it's a work. We all know this is a work. We're aware of that. It's like when you go to a magic show, you know there's a magician doing things. He's not really defying the laws of physics, but still he does it in a way to make you believe, holy shit, he's making things disappear. Like if he pulls a bunny rabbit out of a hat, you don't see a clear container and his hand going through the hat and the container rummaging around to get the rabbit. You see a table and a hat and he finds a way to pull out the bunny to where it's like, holy shit, where would the bunny come from? So there's a way to make it believable. And it was great until one moment. And I don't blame all the women. It's one woman screwed up for everybody. That woman was Raquel Rodriguez. I'll tell you what happened. As we all know, Shayna Baszler is laying down on the floor. We have Rhea Ripley with Zoe Stark on the top, about to set up for the Riptide. All of a sudden, Raquel comes into frame. And everybody's like, oh shit, here's the moment. What's she going to do? Is she going to stop? Is she going to cut off Rhea Ripley? Is she going to stop, break up a pinfall? What's she going to do? Instead, she covers Shayna Baszler. One of the fakest things I've ever seen. And I'll tell you why. Because again, she covers him. Rhea Ripley hits the Riptide, 1, 2, 3. First of all, you can clearly see Rhea Ripley's up there. Why are you going for a cover? Second of all, even if the referee did come down to make the count, there's no way in hell she would have got a 3 count before Rhea Ripley dropped that Riptide, unless she got the referee in her back pocket and about to make a fast count. There was no realistic way there. It looked stupid. It looked ridiculous. And it damn near killed the entire thing because there's only 2 reasons Raquel would do that. I'll let you talk in a sec, Des. One, Raquel's an idiot, which is possible. She could be stupid. I don't know her IQ level. Or she's getting into position for a pre-planned spot. And if you're getting in a position for a pre-planned spot, that means everyone's working together. If everyone's working together, this is all fake, and this is all fake. Why should I care? And why is Rhea Ripley celebrating? So that one moment killed whatever story they were trying to tell. It takes the moment out.
You're a moron. I'm just gonna say it. You're a moron.
She was
trying to get the pin before Rhea could ever get the pin. There was if she gets the pin and she's got the cover and the ref is counting while Rhea's hitting the Riptide, then Rhea doesn't have time to break up the pin. Rhea doesn't have time to pin the other person. It was very simple. She was distracted, and Raquel was trying to take advantage. That
ref was nowhere near in time to make the count, though. She got to get there, check the shoulder, and hit the 1, 2, 3. It's not like you cover and the ref counts from far away. Rhea Ripley was already set up, ready to go.
Raquel had the pin before the Riptide was ever hit. Period. The pin was already happening before the Riptide landed.
But therefore, I'm saying Rhea Ripley's up there. You can clearly tell she's going to hit a move. I'm
It
saying
doesn't
there's
matter.
no way. It wouldn't have happened that fast. It would not have happened that fast.
It doesn't have. You're a dumbass.
No,
Listen
I'm
to what
accurate.
I'm saying.
I'm accurate.
Listen to what. No, you're not. You're stupid. You're not thinking. You're trying to sound smart and not doing it well.
I think both of you are right. And here's why I say that. I think, Vinny, you're so damn analytical that you overestimate the intelligence level of the average kayfabe fan. Like, and also it's all moving so fast. It's got to be such a challenge to time that, because what if somebody else wasn't where they were supposed to be and she was? What if somebody else, like you said, you have to be in collaboration with each other, timing's got to be right. So I think, Desmond, you're onto something in terms of it is believable enough because the average fan isn't going to pull out AWS and decide that it's 8 degrees off the mat. She wouldn't be able to get to the cover in time like they do with NFL commercials, you know?
It's very simple. If Raquel has the pin, is already covering the person. Even if the full count's not there, the ref only has to go down and say, okay, this person's got a pin. I'm going to count this pin. And therefore, when Rhea goes for the other pin, he's going to have to wait until she finishes that count. It's very simple.
But I'm saying by the time he would have got down to make the count, Rhea Ripley was already coming down with the riptide, so she's not going to get the 3.
How does that stop? How does that stop Raquel's pin?
Because when he comes down and hits Raquel, it breaks with the pin, which is exactly what happened. What happened is the point I'm trying to make. Raquel should have went up and knocked off Rhea Ripley instead of going for a cover. It looked stupid.
You're a moron. Going for quick pins is the number one thing that happens in group matches. Period.
Yeah, I'm saying that going for quick pins, but there wasn't going to be one. Is my point. Because Rhea was already going for the riptide by the time Raquel dropped down.
We should let the Wenz Worldians decide. If you've seen this match and you have an opinion, say I'm with Booch or I'm with Des, and let's let the people settle this. This is the people's ring. Let's let the people decide what's what. You know what? The people have spoken. If they haven't, they need to talk about the absolute disgrace this Solo Sikoa John Cena match was. Guys, can I just say that if you're going to do a squash match, why don't you make it 30 seconds instead of dragging this nonsense out? It was one of the worst matches I think I've seen. And it absolutely, to me, it just solidifies John Cena's role as a jobber moving forward.
You do realize this wasn't a squash match, right?
He got his ass kicked the whole match.
No,
the whole match he got his ass kicked.
Every one of his spots throughout this match.
Dude,
Cena hit every one of his spots in this match.
Every time I looked up, John Cena was getting dragged around the ring. Every time I looked up.
Then you weren't paying very much attention.
I was doing dishes. I have kids and shit. I mean, I was doing stuff. But every time I looked up.
He did the 5 moves of doom. He hit the attitude adjustment. He hit the STF. He hit every one of his spots in this match. It was a back and forth match that Solo won.
No, it was more Solo than Cena.
Okay.
All matches.
It was more Solo than Cena.
All matches swing one way or the other, but it was not a squash match. A squash match is a match where one person comes in, dominates, gets a quick win.
That's what I was saying. If they were going to play it, but if you would listen to now I'm siding with Bucci because you don't listen. You just want to talk and you just want to sound smart, Des. That's the truth. That's the reality. What I said was every time I looked up, Cena was getting his ass kicked. And it just solidifies the narrative that whoever wrestles Cena is going to win. He hasn't won a singles match in 5 years. And I agree with
you on that. 100%. Cena did not need to lose this match. I completely agree with you on that.
And so that's why I'm frustrated with the fact that every time I looked up, he's getting his ass kicked. I'm saying if you're going to get your ass kicked, just get it done in 1 minute and be done so we can move on to the next match and watch something better. It just showed me that Cena is no longer the Ebenezer. He's no longer the foundation to build on and say, you're losing to freaking Solo Sikoa. It's one thing to lose to Austin Theory, who was Vince McMahon's handpicked angel. You realize
Solo Sikoa has a better win rate than Austin Theory, right?
I don't give a shit about win rates. This doesn't matter. Win rates. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You're making it sound like Austin Theory makes more sense to lose to. Solo has a better. Solo wins more often, so therefore it makes more sense to lose to Solo.
We just talked about why it doesn't make sense for Solo to win last time we recorded. He's an enforcer. He doesn't need to win anything, and the fact that he wins this match.
From a narrative standpoint, I agree with you. But saying that it makes more sense to lose to Austin Theory doesn't, because Austin Theory has a worse win rate than Solo Sikoa. So Solo Sikoa, if you look at just the statistics alone, Solo Sikoa makes a lot more sense to lose to than Austin Theory.
I guess if you were to compare strength of schedule, the people Solo Sikoa has wrestled versus the people Austin Theory has wrestled, let's match them up. You're going to see that they match Solo Sikoa to protect him on the show with jobbers, Bob Kipper from the local gym from Ohio Valley Wrestling doing a local, you know what I'm talking, you know what I'm saying. They protect him.
To put up against everybody who's been bothering Roman Reigns.
But you get the point. He's not a wrestler. Solo Sikoa has one move. It's this. That's it. That's his move.
Now you're being ridiculous.
Okay, maybe, but that's my role in the show.
Now you're starting to sound like Booch talking about The Miz. All right.
Fair. That's a fair point. Except I don't hate the guy. I just every time I looked up, he's dragging Cena across the ring. Cena's and I'm just like, is this what's happening? Is this what we're watching? And again, I was more mad that I was wrong. But besides that, Booch, you've been chomping at the bit here. Yeah, Booch, objectively, before you go off on your tangent, did Solo Sikoa not control the match more than John Cena?
I will say this, okay? It's just like you were saying before. Both of you are right. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Listen. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like you both made very valid points, and I loved watching this because I think the viewers are gonna love the fact that there's two people arguing, and it's not me and Des for once. But I will say this: as much as Des and I disagreed on the last match, we do agree a little bit on this one. I'll tell you why. There was a moment in the match where Solo was in complete control. Absolutely. But that happened towards the end. When Cena first hit the ring, he dominated the beginning of the match was him. Beating the shit out of Solo Sikoa to the point where I thought Sikoa was going to get squashed.
Did I fall asleep? I swear
I fell asleep, or your kid woke up and you had to take care of it, whatever it was. Something happened. But the beginning of this match, Cena dominated. Then eventually it turned, and for the rest of the match, Solo dominated the second half.
That's what I'm saying. That for the majority of the match, he was winning.
But I'm saying it was 50-50. Cena dominated the beginning. In the beginning, it was John.
Yeah, but the beginning's just the beginning.
Yeah, and then they swerved
there's the rest.
Solo, and then then the finish was goddamn ridiculous because now obviously in the long run, the actor's strike ended. So now Cena's obviously going back to Hollywood. And the thing is, at this point, he might as well, because you did say they killed Cena's value in this match. Like, there's nothing left for him to give really in the ring because of not only the fact that he lost, but he lost so decisively. And like you said before, and I agree, he lost to the enforcer. Solo's not moving forward. And the other thing you said that I disagree with is that Austin Theory was not the better person to put up. Both these guys should have never got wins over Cena.
But of the two,
benefited, and Austin Theory was worse because at least Solo is going to be standing next to Roman Reigns. Austin Theory is hanging around with Grayson Waller because he needs somebody to talk for him. That's
fair. That's a good point.
That's the thing. Let's see let's see if I'm going to be in the background. Who I want to be in the background of? The tribal chief who's been champion for like 1,000 days, or the Australian guy with the talk show. Who do I want to stand behind? So really, Solo, at least he's going back to being the right-hand man of the tribal chief and being on TV every week. Austin's showing up whenever Grayson Waller needs a tag partner. So it's sad. Neither one of these guys are benefiting from a victory to Cena. And I honestly believe the only benefit is the same thing that Theory got. If Solo bombs in WWE, you can't say John buried him. That's the only reason this benefits, is because now if Solo Sikoa doesn't make it in WWE, if he ends up being an epic fail, if he ends up going to AEW with his tail tucked between his legs, you cannot say that Cena pulled out the golden shovel and buried him because he gave him the most definitive win, even though he's not going to benefit from this win because he goes right back to being back with a tribal chief and not going for any success. Like, it would work if it was somebody that was actually going to go somewhere. Like, he should be beating Austin Theory, beating Solo Sikoa, and jobbing to LA Knight or Cody Rhodes. Someone who's going to carry the company for the next 10 years. Solo, the only thing he's going to be carrying is Roman's bags to the locker room.
Okay, let's be real here. Do you really think LA Knight's going to carry the company for another 10 years?
We've seen guys come back in their 60s. He's in great shape. He could do it.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch, my man. Don't get me wrong. He is phenomenal, and I am with you 99% of the time when it comes to LA Knight. But he does not. I'm not saying he doesn't have 10 years in it, but he's not going to be main event for 10 years. It's just not going to happen.
Okay. Oh, good 6 or 7. So close. Maybe 3/4 of it.
I'll give you 5 or 6. I'll give you 5 or 6.
Okay, we'll settle on 5 or 6. That's fair.
Which would be fine for most of us when they're ready to do it. We'll get to his match later on because that was the main event. But I'd be remiss to not mention Logan Paul defeating Rey Mysterio to become the United States champion. Desmond, you've been going second a lot. What are your thoughts on this one?
I feel a little bit better about it now. When it first happened, I was exceedingly worried about it. I'm still a little bit worried about it because this is on SmackDown, where we already have a part-time world champion. So I'm really worried about having the mid-card title also on a part-timer. I will say that Logan Paul has come out and said that he is not pursuing boxing anymore and he's going to be a full-time wrestler. If that is true and he holds to his word there and he's on the show on the regular, then I am perfectly down with this. He is very talented. And in this match, he showed that he is a very useful star because they both made a mistake. Both of them. He was in the wrong spot. Rey Mysterio's knees hit that top rope when doing that springboard moonsault. They both made a mistake. Rey didn't go far enough and he wasn't in the right spot. But Logan caught him, saved his ass. He was professional enough to see, hey, this isn't going right. What do I got to do to fix it in the moment? And he saved Rey Mysterio's career right there. Mm-hmm. And the match itself was phenomenal. The setup, the finish was great. Having Santos drop the Nux there, it was fucking awesome. It's the way it's set up with Carlito having a problem with Santos is really cool, especially because Rey is now out with an injury, having surgery again. So it's doing really well. If Logan Paul is a regular on the weekly shows, then I am 100% happy about this. This not very happy I lost the point, but if Logan sticks around and does what he says he's going to do, then I'm happy with him as champion.
Yeah, Booch, and you've been very outspoken about your belief about Logan Paul being an ambassador for WWE and holding that belt on his podcast, out while he's promoting Prime, doing whatever he's doing, stuff with his brother. So the opportunities here are
getting
endless.
Laid in his belt.
On and on and on it goes. So, Booch, what are your thoughts on this match and particularly what Des said about the botch and how this compares to past botches and really what this says about Logan Paul's ability to improv in the moment?
Well, about the botch, I'll say this. What was great about it was not only that Logan Paul was able to save Rey Mysterio, but he did it in such a way that to the untrained eye, it doesn't look like he was doing that. For all they knew, you're picking him up and immediately went into a slam. So he transitioned so well, it didn't even look that way, except when someone played a video clip and showed it and you look real closely, you can notice it. But if you're not looking for it, you don't really catch it. Mm-hmm. And that was the beauty of that. And also, I've spoken to people who I've showed this video to who are also deep in wrestling and know the inner sides and stuff. And like, what do you do in that particular situation? And usually in a situation like that, and this is just hypothetical, obviously it didn't happen in WWE, but let's say Ray and Logan were working an indie show and they were indie guys, and that spot happened, and you realize, oh crap, this person's about to break their neck. That is one of the rare moments where they would rather you break character and save the guy than have him break his neck. But what would happen is the guy who's saving him would not get in trouble. But the guy who botched the spot and had to make the guy break character, that's the guy who the promoter is going to be screaming at in the locker room when you get to the back. Like, you just fucked our story. This guy had to break character to save your ass because you didn't execute a move properly that you probably shouldn't have done in the first place. Now, obviously, Ray's not going to get yelled at. This is just a hypothetical. So in the moment, Logan Paul did exactly what he needed to do. And hypothetically, Ray would have been the one getting yelled at in the locker room, not Logan.
An interesting thing about this, and Logan outright said it as well in an interview. Well, it wasn't an interview. He was responding to all the hype that he's been getting for saving Ray. He openly said, "I was too far back for the spot to begin with."
And I did hear that. Yes, I did hear that. So I'm not saying Logan wasn't at fault, but
he said we both made a mistake. He openly admitted that they both made a mistake in that spot, and he just did what he had to do.
Yes, I'm just telling you what the guys told me. I'm just relaying the message. So, but as far as the match goes, I liked it, but to me, it was a little awkward. Like, I wouldn't say it was one of Logan's best matches, but it didn't suck. Like, because to me, they were trying to do a luchador style match, which is good if you're close to the same height. But like, Logan Paul's practically like a foot taller, so when they're trying to do the luchador stuff and the hand holding and the monkey flips and the stuff, the stuff the Mexican arm drag stuff I don't particularly care for, but they can make it fluid. It wasn't as fluid because there's a major height difference, so it felt a little clunky. But again, I'm not shitting on it. It wasn't one of Logan Paul's better matches. But the finish was great. The brass knuckles, Logan Paul trying to show sportsmanship, even though Ray's like, you know what you did. He's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You was great, legend. Thanks for the match, man. I appreciate it. Like, just being so dickish is great. And the fact that he's, again, and obviously it looks like he's going to be on TV, which is great. But regardless, like, on his podcast, the belt's right there. He was on that Fox business show with a golden bottle of Prime and a belt right there. And there's literally pictures of him, like him laying in bed, his fiance spooning him, and he's spooning the U.S. title, which I thought was funny as hell. I could have did without the shower picture with the U.S. title. I thought that was a little, I didn't like that. Didn't care for that. But everything else he's been doing with the belt, love it. And that's one of the things I was trying to make was, obviously, like I said, I agree with Des. He should be on TV. But whether he's on TV or not, he's giving more press and publicity to this U.S. title than we've seen in the last year. So, like I said, he has such a presence outside of wrestling that as long as he's holding that U.S. title everywhere he goes, it's still getting the press it needs and it's still getting the exposure. So this is a win-win all around.
I'll say the exposure helps the company, but it does not help the story in my eyes. I want to see him on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I love to see him on the show too, but I'm just saying it's working out either way, is what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is we saw the return of one Kairi Sane coming to the aid of Io Sky. Boy, oh boy. I think a lot of people saw this coming. I think even the announcer was like, oh my gosh, that's Kairi Sane. What the heck is going on? Yeah.
Her return was kind of leaked. We didn't know how she was going to return or what she was going to do. A lot of people speculated that Kairi Sane was actually going to fuck Io Sky over because she's been working with Bailey, who took Kairi out in the first place. Right. How this ended up happening was really it was a bit of a swerve. We didn't know that this was going to happen. We knew she was going to come back, but we didn't know what was going to happen when she did.
Yeah, and some of us thought Io Sky was going to win this match, and some of us were right, and then others of us thought that Bianca Belair was going to win this match, and we're wrong. Good match though, great match. Like, again, could have been, in my eyes, probably better than the Fatal 5-Way, in my opinion. Also because these two have told a story, and there's other people involved now. The way that Bailey looked at her after the match was just like, okay, I guess I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Where does this leave us?
I-
Clearly a kinship there, camaraderie between Sky and Sane. Go ahead. Go ahead, Des.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Though I enjoyed the hell out of this match. I I voted Bianca Belair because, like I said in the like I said in the predictions show, it felt like a John Cena return. It felt like it felt like Charlotte Flair coming back. It was at that moment. All right, she gave me that feel, but this told a story, and it set up very well the next leg of Io Sky's story and Kairi Sane's story. And I think what we're going to end up seeing is I think Bayley's going to end up being kicked out of Damage Control, and Bayley might end up taking the belt from Io Sky in the long run.
I like that. I like that story. That's cool. What say you, Booch? It looks like you got a lot to say.
Yeah, well, like I said before, I was impressed with the match a little bit. Like, I liked the storytelling, the working in there. There was some psychology, which I was surprised to see. I'm not gonna lie. Did I like the finish? No, but I will say there's a lot of stuff that's happened since then that has been impressive, and obviously, like I was surprised there was working in the match. Io Sky and Bianca Belair definitely did a lot. There wasn't a lot of strong style BS, which is, everybody knows how I feel about that. Not a big fan, but I also like the fact that they're putting all the strong style people in one faction because Asuka's now joined Damage Control, which was kind of a shock. Not too surprising to me. I like that. And even if they do kick Bayley out, they still got Dakota Kai. So there's someone to cut a promo for him. So still the faction works together very well and there's chemistry there. So while I didn't particularly care for the finish because, like I said, I thought Bianca was going to win because, I was thinking months down the road. Like I said, I was planning for the inevitable Jade Cargill return and have them lock up at Mania because I know there's money to be made there. Maybe that'll still happen. I don't know. Maybe Jade might go somewhere. Maybe Jade might win and challenge for the Raw title. I have no idea, but that was why I went with Bianca because I was thinking, okay, let's get Bianca established again and then have the new star come in. But they wanted to go a different route, and the Bayley route might work, but if that's where they're going with it, but I just hope it's going there because obviously I wanted to see a title change.
Yeah, this would have been interesting because I think I don't want to see Jade go to Raw. And it's not because I don't feel like she would do well there. It's because I feel like the Raw women's roster is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as much as I'm not a big fan of Jade herself, I think adding her to the SmackDown roster would benefit the SmackDown roster in the long run. So it's one of those, like, I'm not her biggest fan, but I do recognize her star power. And that's just one of those deals where you're going to have to, I'm going to have to meet a consensus here. I would like to see her, go against Bianca Belair, one way or another. Maybe they'll have her win the next Money in the Bank, the women's Money in the Bank before she gets the title. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there's a lot of options for Jade in the long run. There's a lot of great women on the roster. There's a lot of different styles for women on the roster. We got giants, we got flyers, we got strikers and submission artists. I mean, the women's roster right now in WWE is as stacked as it has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Jade has plenty of options to go with. So if they choose not to have her versus Bianca this year at Mania, it's not going to kill Jade at all.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And it's kind of a blessing and a curse, right? They have so much talent that not everybody's going to get showcased at the right time. You just got to be ready to go, right? And we never know how injuries could stack up. Somebody gets hurt.
That's how Kofi Mania happened. That's exactly how Kofi Mania happened. Remember, Kofi wasn't supposed to be in that big match, that gauntlet match. It was supposed to be Mustafa Ali, but he got injured, so they replaced him with Kofi.
Wow, throwback. Gosh, it seems like forever ago.
Yeah, and his performance was so incredible. That's what got him the run. So they just capitalized on it till it ran out of steam, and then they went a little longer. And then
and what sucks is they ran out of steam because they pushed it too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucks
They,
that it
they could have,
happened
if they'd
during.
have had to have story rivalry after story rivalry instead of, oh, we're gonna have you face as many people as possible in a very short time. It could have been phenomenal. He could have been a good long-term champion if they'd have done it right.
Yeah. Good old WWE. Hopefully they'll do this guy right. And actually both of these guys, because both of them are hard workers and decent on the mic. And I'm talking about Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. I love how this match ended. That was my favorite part of the match, how Sammy got back involved. So we all picked Cody, but I felt like this is a great match. There were plenty of times when Damian Priest could have won. They took it outside. It was one of those where if we all didn't know better, we could have believed that Damian Priest could have won this match. So,
It was done well.
Yeah, it was a good loss. If you're going to take an L, take one like that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, having Sammy interfere and distract him was a good way to make that happen too. It's like it was still, technically speaking, it was a clean because Sammy didn't lay hands on him, but it was still a distraction nonetheless. So it helps him in that sense,
and it builds a potential. You never know down the road between Sammy and Damian. Love to see that. Wouldn't that be great down the road? There's so many things you can do with that.
We've been seeing for the last several months because it's been Sami Zayn versus Judgment Day.
Yeah, but I don't watch. I told you, I'm the guy who wins the championship. By the way, people are wondering, guys, who won? Like, you guys are talking about all this count stuff.
Technically, there was no winner because.
Well, we're going to get to that because we're getting to the last match right now, and that is Roman Reigns defeating LA Knight. Again, people are going to talk about this. Will Roman Reigns be remembered like Hulkamania was? Because every time he defends, he gets help. So Hulk Hogan didn't need the help. Just going to say it.
I mean, and Ric Flair won all of his matches by cheating, whether hitting somebody in the balls or using a weapon, or you get remembered regardless.
Well, either way, LA Knight still not to where we thought, some of us thought he might be. Was one of those moments where it could have been him. It could have been WWE's sneaky way of putting him up, but we all see they want to take this closer to Hogan's mark. May not get to that 1,400 something days. We were trying to do the math last time ineffectively here.
I got the math right here. It's Roman right now has 1,174 plus, and Hulk Hogan was 1,474 days. So based on the math that I've seen, in order for Roman to tie or break his record, Roman would have to keep the belt until September of 2024 if they wanted to do that, which I don't think they will. I mean, then again, we thought this was going to end a long time ago, so God only knows. But if they really wanted him to break Hogan's record, he'd have to hold the belt till September of next year. That's how long we would have to wait for him to surpass Hogan's 4-year run as the champion.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of stuff about this saying that a big part of giving this to him is because he does have leukemia, and he's not. If he does get the title back again, it's not going to be for a long run because his health wise is not going to be great. He's like, he is fighting leukemia and he's in remission, and he goes, but leukemia doesn't just go away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not going to be one of those guys that wrestles well into old age. He just doesn't, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they got to really consider that. I mean, that's it could, listen, like you said, it never goes away. There's always that chance you're in remission, but you're just another appointment away from finding out something. I mean, that's real. So with that said, do you have somebody ready to go? Like, is LA Knight the next man up? Because if he's the number one contender, if not him, then who at this point?
Right now, the plan, based on what I've seen, is it's him in a rematch with Cody. And Cody even said in a busted open interview, like they were talking about The Rock versus about what if The Rock does face Roman Reigns. And Cody was talking about, obviously he said he has respect for The Rock. He has respect for LA Knight. He has respect for a lot of guys, but he's made it very clear. He goes, they all have a spot on the card, but it's not my spot. So he's making it very clear his spot is that main event with Roman. He's going to finish the story. And he's made it clear that the only way to finish that story is to take that belt. He's established that many, many times. So he basically said so that's the plan, which again, as I mentioned before, the only way to pull that off is for him to win the Rumble because they fucked up every other chance. They didn't give him the Money in the Bank. They didn't trade him to SmackDown.
Well, there is one other way.
Okay, I like to hear it.
Elimination Chamber. You have an Elimination Chamber match. Cody wins the number one contendership. You have the Rumble winner go after the other belt.
That could work if they're going to make it interpromotional, which wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, at this point we also have two GMs. What trades could happen for one way or another. You could have stuff happen that way.
Yeah.
Stuff could be made happen. I mean, or Money in the Bank. Oh no, Money in the Bank won't happen until after Mania again.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying that unless they decide to do work some magic where it's like, hey, we're gonna have an Elimination Chamber match and let both brands compete to face Roman, or the general manager do trades, you got to have Cody win the Rumble one more time. Because they're both on separate brands.
I want to make a suggestion to WWE. I know that they're probably not watching our little show here, but WWE, if you ever catch a clip of this video here, let's put the fucking Money in the Bank match at the beginning of WrestleMania and stop having Money in the Bank as a whole fucking show. Opening match of WrestleMania every year, Money in the Bank ladder match.
I like that because then you just don't know throughout the rest of the show if it's going to be there or throughout the rest of the calendar year. Like you could literally end the story right then and there, that pay-per-view, if you wanted to.
And it has happened. That has happened.
So I love that idea because then
on night one, cash it in night two.
Yeah. Oh, because I forgot it's a 2-night. That's right. You know what else I forgot? We had, with the 2-night WrestleMania, we had 2 winners.
Yeah. We had an incident, and it was because of EO Sky. Basically what happened was Wenz and I tied for the victory, but we did not, but because what happened was we were getting ready for Crown Jewel. It was happening at 1:00 in the afternoon. So we had to get the episode out as fast as possible. We're recording, we're doing the turnaround so you guys can see this. We were so wrapped up in getting the show made, and there was so many technical stuff prior to it. We didn't establish a tiebreaker. So Wenz and I are tied for the title. So now
as the champion, I say there was no winner, so therefore I did not lose. Fuck y'all.
No, that's not the way it goes.
No. It's definitely not Desmond. If we can establish right now on the show, it's definitely not him.
He has not gotten my belt. That's all I'm saying. I've still got it right here.
Yeah, that's true. He does have it. He's got his virtual background too. Look at that.
Get it from his house.
Oh yeah, my background's awesome. That's an AI generated remake of the wing belt.
That's dope.
Cool.
So I guess we got to do a tiebreaker for Survivor Series, right?
Yeah. So basically, what we have to do with Survivor Series is either we establish a tiebreaker or we find a way to where we have completely different answers, and then one of two things will happen. Either we'll break the tie and one of us will be the champ, or Desmond wins his belt back. Either way, we can end this. But right now, because we've done this before in the earlier years of Wenz World, before Des showed up, we always had the rule about the tie going to the champion. But then the 3-way situation, which Des brought up, what we were going to do. So we had to establish tiebreakers. If the champ was involved in the tie, that would end it. So we're right now we're in uncharted territory for the first time in Wenz World, trying to avoid, because we tried to avoid this before. And so far we did pretty good, but now we're stuck.
So, we'd always established tiebreakers before. I don't know what happened here. I think it's just because we were so different on all of our answers on this one that we just assumed that somebody was going to win.
That's exactly right. Maybe for every match from now on, we should have our prediction. We give our prediction first, and then we run through our tiebreakers. Actually, I think the best way to do the tiebreaker thing is we make our prediction and then we chat in Zoom, and then we get, all right, ready, 1, 2, 3, submit, and then we all submit our tiebreaker at the same time. That way nobody can steal each other's tiebreaker. Just an idea. If you have, that way it's an independent thought. There's no group think. There's no, oh, that's a good idea. I want the same thing or something similar. Just an idea.
I don't like the idea of having a tiebreaker in every match because then you end up with the same situation if somebody ends up with the same amount of points. You know what I mean? It needs to be a full show tiebreaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's not forget. We need to remember to remember.
Yes, exactly.
All
So
right.
Now,
because what happened was
if you
that
guys would be okay with this, we could if there's something like a cool stipulation in a match, we could say, hey, if this happens, I'm going this way for an extra point in a match or something.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be something cool, on the fly, on a case by case basis to have more points affecting the show.
I like it.
and we know War Games is back at Survivor Series, so we can definitely put a tiebreaker in the War Games. And
Real quick, I'll say it right now. Randy Orton is returning to join Team Cody.
Oh, there's your spoiler. There's Dez's bold tiebreaker right there.
Cody said it. We've got friends.
We could see it. We could see it. They're already dropping hints.
And we're gonna see 5-on-5 inside of that damn War Games. And we're gonna have Randy.
The return of CM Punk. Did I just hear that? And I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. We have our thoughts, but we got to get out of here. The producers are kicking down the door. They're asking me for more money. I can't afford that. So
like helicopters flying through.
Let's before we meet again, gentlemen, we will never ever leave without a few key catchphrases. One of which is "Have a nice day."
Bang bang.
Y'all didn't win, so I'm still the champion.